Welcome back to OT Sports. Today we got our national championship game reaction and analysis. As always, my Discord and X are linked in the description. You can join that, you can follow that, whatever you like to do. We have lots of content around here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Leave a like on this video if you enjoy. We got college football, college basketball, NFL, NBA every single week. So yeah, very exciting stuff around here. Um, and yeah, let's just get right into the game. So, as you can see, just off this win probability, you know, Michigan really had control of the game throughout the whole thing. I mean, their lowest win percentage was at the start of the game, which they started with a 74, and they really just dominated Washington throughout the whole game. Now, there was parts of the game where I thought Washington could make it interesting and tie up the game and have a chance, obviously. But I mean, you look at this play by play. We're just gonna go through the game. So, um, Michigan starts out the game with a touchdown, a really nice run from Donovan Edwards, 41 yards. Yeah, you can see 41 yards. And it's really they just started it off with a bang. A great drive, 8 plays, 84 yards. Took 5 minutes off the clock. Washington comes back with a 14-play drive. It does end in a field goal, which did kind of suck just because they got all the way down to the Michigan, 8-yard line, and they really just couldn't do anything. They did get points on the board, though. Michigan scores another touchdown. Donovan Edwards with a 46-yard touchdown run this time, and Donovan Edwards really just exploded in this game, and I think he's going to have a huge year next year, obviously, with there being no Blake Corum. I think Donovan Edwards is in for a huge breakout year. I think he could potentially be better than Blake Corum, which kind of sucks being an Ohio State fan. But and then the defense forces a 3-and-out for Michigan. The defense for Michigan was really the story in this game. They just played a great game. They weren't letting Washington do anything. Now I know Penix did get hurt later in the game. He probably has some broken ribs, which is unfortunate, but. Like I said, I mean Michigan's defense, the pass rush was just crazy, and the secondary too. They just did their part really, and Michigan's defense really stepped it up in this game in a huge way. They force a 3-and-out, then Michigan kicks a field goal to go up 17-3 in the first quarter. By the way, this was still in the first quarter. When they kicked this field goal, I believe. Well, no, but it was, just at the start of the second quarter. And yeah, Blake Corum breaks off a 60-yard run right there. I mean, there was just a lot of big rushing plays for Michigan, and Washington's defense really just looked like they didn't have the speed in the second and third level on defense. They really just couldn't bring it was bad tackling. They just couldn't bring Corum or Edwards down when they really broke through the offensive defensive line. Then Washington goes for it on fourth and 7 at the 47. I like the call. It'll get a little risky. They're already down 14, but it was a little bit risky. I mean, like I said, I do like the call, but that could have ended up really bad for them. That could have potentially lost them the game if Michigan were to go down and score a touchdown with that drive. But the Washington defense does make a pretty good stand here. They force a 3-and-out, but then Michigan's defense just comes right back and forces a 3-and-out, and then Michigan goes for it at the 38. I wasn't a super big fan of this. I think I mean obviously there was you could have. I mean it was only 2 yards, 4th and 2, so that's not bad or anything. I don't know. I think I probably would have just taken the points there, especially with it winding down in the second quarter. The defense has been playing as good as it has been this whole half. Probably would have just taken the points, but they did go for it. They got stopped. And then Washington comes back with an 11-yard touchdown, taking 4 minutes off the clock, scoring with 42 seconds. They go for it on 4th and goal. They get it. That was a great drive right there to really put them back into this game. This was the moment where I thought, they could potentially make something happen. They force a punt. It's with 3 seconds left, so they can't really do anything. They just um, run the ball and the half. Then to start the second half, to start the third quarter, Washington has the ball, and at this point, I'm thinking if there's any time for Washington to get the momentum, they gotta go down and score something here. They gotta score something here, even if it's a field goal. It would be preferably a touchdown, obviously to tie up the game. But they throw an interception on the first play of the game to Will Johnson, and that was just really just. I mean, at this point, I thought Washington. I mean, they've stopped Michigan 3 drives in a row, as you can see here. Um, they just scored a touchdown. It's within a one-score game now, and they start with the ball. I thought they might be getting some momentum here. I thought Washington might be able to do something here, but no, I was just wrong. Michigan intercepts it. They're fortunate that they didn't get a touchdown out of this, because that would have really put the game out of reach. They do end up getting a field goal. It's just a bad mistake from Penix. And then Washington goes down and gets a field goal to make it back to a 7-point game. And then this was really where Washington just got a lot of opportunities. They just couldn't do much with this. I mean, you see punt, 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 punt. It was rough, and this was pretty much the whole third quarter for Washington. I mean, you can see this drive started with 9 minutes left, and all these punts end with just right in the start of the fourth. This was really the whole third quarter. They kept on getting opportunities with it being a 7-point game, and they just couldn't really do much. Now I will say the officiating in this game was a little rough. I didn't like some of the calls. A lot of Washington's big plays got taken away for a little bit of ticky tacky holding calls. They didn't really call many holdings on Michigan, even though they probably held a lot, especially defensive holding. Washington's receivers were getting separation. They were getting open. Penix just, with his rib injury, he just kind of looked not. I mean, he just didn't look good. And I feel for him, because I feel like with a fully healthy Penix, they might have a shot in this game, especially with this little stretch right here. I mean, it was just the Washington defense really stepped it up in this third quarter, forced a 3-and-out from Michigan, but then Washington's offense just doesn't really do anything. And the penalties were killing Washington all night. Then they force another punt. And then, Washington, once again, just doesn't do anything. And then they force another 3-and-out. And then they just, again, get stopped right away at 3-and-out for Michigan's defense. And then Michigan comes out, scores a touchdown, really just puts the game away at this point. They're up 14 with 7 minutes left. And I said, well, if Washington could score this next drive, there's still a chance. They're driving down the field. Penix throws an interception, and it's returned all the way to the 8-yard line, and that really just sealed the deal for the game. Michigan does end up scoring a touchdown with Blake Corum, and that's the end of the game, and Michigan 34-13. Now, I don't want to say it, obviously the refs didn't. That's not the whole story, obviously. With the refs, obviously I wasn't a big fan of as some of their calls, but that's not the reason why Washington lost this game. It's really just the Penix, he just didn't really look good. He was kind of missing some throws. The penalties really hurt this team. If there's penalties here, I would love to see it. There's not, but that really just hurt them, and then just not really capitalizing on the opportunities. I mean, the defense was getting some stops, and they didn't even need McCarthy to do anything. And I said, if Washington had a chance to start with the ball first, I would do it, score early, get up early, and just keep pressuring this Michigan offense to go down and score, because if they have to lean on McCarthy, I don't feel all too confident in them doing so. I think that's why we saw them lose to TCU last year, and McCarthy really didn't have to do anything. 140 yards, 10 completions, touchdowns. Now he didn't make much mistakes, which was good. But Penix, he obviously had more yards and more completions by a lot. Also, 18 pass attempts to 51 is kind of crazy, but um, the two interceptions were both kind of crucial, and he really just messed them up. And then you look at Michigan's running backs: 134 yards for Blake Corum, 2 touchdowns; 104 yards for Donovan Edwards and 2 touchdowns. He did that with 6 carries, by the way, 17 yards a carry. McCarthy was getting it done with his legs, but it just they just didn't need McCarthy to do much through the air, and that's really what I thought could hurt Washington. Because I said in my prediction video, I said I don't really see this Washington defense being able to stop Michigan's run game. I don't think their line of scrimmage is physical enough to do so. I don't think they're good enough to do so, and we really saw that with this game. Michigan just breaking off big runs left and right. Um, two very notable ones with Donovan Edwards scoring those 2 touchdowns, and then Blake Corum had a nice 60-yard run too. So that was really the story in this game. Washington just couldn't stop Michigan's run game, and the offense just, with Penix being injured, it really just kind of collapsed in on itself, which is unfortunate because I think they had a chance in that game. They were given a lot of opportunities, and obviously the refs weren't the best, but I'm not going to blame that for the reason why Washington lost. Michigan was definitely the better team in this one. They're the more complete team. They're a more deep team. The defense for Michigan was just phenomenal. And yeah, Washington just really couldn't do much offensively. The defense actually played better than I thought. I know it's not going to look good because they scored 34 points, but a lot of that was Penix just throwing interceptions, gifting Michigan really great field position. And the penalties for Washington obviously are. So yeah, that's gonna do it for the recap for this national championship game. I'm sorry it's a little bit of a shorter video, but it's only one game to talk about, and I feel like I did a pretty decent job stretching this out as much as I could. Make sure you guys like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We got college basketball, college football, NFL, and NBA every single week. We also do MLB when that season starts up, baseball season. And as always, my Discord and X are linked in the description. You can join that, you follow that, whatever you'd like to do. But I will see you guys tomorrow with NFL picks, wild card week picks. Very exciting. Yeah, I'll just wait for tomorrow to explain all the rules and stuff for the playoffs. Should be a very fun video. You guys are loving the NFL picks. Make sure you go check that out tomorrow. I will. We'll see you guys with those picks tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoyed this one.